Meat bicycle!
Hello everybody! Welcome back to Borderlands, the pre-sequel. Today I'll be doing the second part of my Handsome Jack Doppelganger skill tree analysis. So for those of you that don't know or haven't caught the first video or the news of the announced Doppelganger coming out, links will be in the description for that, so go and check it out. Last time we did the hero of this story skill tree, the far left hand side skill tree of Handsome Jacks Doppelganger, and it's a pretty good skill tree really, and I definitely think I'll be going down that one, and it does sound pretty good, especially when you get to the end and you actually get the chance for one of your clones to be a badass. That sounds pretty good. But today we're going to be looking at the middle skill tree, which is the greater good skill tree. But first, as I'll always do for the 3-part episodes, we will just go over his actual action skill, which will be the first thing you get when you get your first skill point. So it's called Expendable Assets. Press F to summon 2 Digijacks to fight and die for you. Digijacks lose health constantly until they die. When a Digijack dies, a new one will be summoned near you. Press and hold F to end expendable assets early and gain a reduction to your cooldown. So I'm not going to go over this too much every time because we covered it in the first video, and like I said, that'll be linked in the description. But basically, you press your action skill button, and as you can read there, it's F on PC. You summon your 2 Digijacks, and they will fight for you and lose health, distract the enemies. They'll die, but they'll respawn until your action skill ends, so they're constantly going to be there fighting for you. And yeah, like I said, just good as a distraction really. So we're going to have a look into the greater good skill tree here. So we'll start off on the first tier, left hand side, and it's integrity. So you deal bonus weapon damage against enemies who are below 40% health. If you have not damaged the enemy previously and the enemy is under 40% health, you deal extra weapon damage. So I'm guessing if they're fighting around and you haven't actually touched them and they're less than 40% health, you'll pretty one-shot them or seriously damage them pretty well. But for those that you've got under 40% health yourself, you'll still get extra weapon damage. So that sounds quite good really, especially, you know, for finishing off people if you're in a big wave of enemies and, you know, you've had a quite hard fight really, and most of them are just, you know, not dead but quite injured, and you're looking to go, you know, you're pretty close to going down. You can just deal a burst of extra damage and just finish them all off and get yourself to safety. So it's quite a handy one, that one. Next, it's whenever a Digijack dies. This is called Collaborate, by the way. Whenever a Digijack dies, you gain a stack of Collaborate. You and your Digijacks gain a damage bonus equal to the number of Collaborate stacks you have. All Collaborate stacks are lost when your action skill ends. So it sounds, you know, quite a handy one, that one, especially if you're underleveled a bit and you're getting pretty, you know, overpowered by a lot of enemies and your Digijacks are dying quite a lot, but you're holding on. You get damage bonus to keep you going, and yeah, it's one of these stacking ones that I'm never really been a fan of stacking things like Anarchy and things like that in Borderlands 2. So it doesn't appeal to me really, but it could work for other people. So second tier, we are starting off with Synergy. So it's a kill skill, and killing an enemy grants increased weapon damage and critical damage for a short time. Pretty self-explanatory, that one really. Middle is Diversify. Your Digijack's wrist laser is now a shotgun laser. We've obviously seen in the actual story mode a few times where Jack's fighting people. He's got like a wrist watch laser thing that fires lasers out at things. So now you can actually turn that into a shotgun laser. So that sounds pretty good really. A bit more powerful really, and it's nice that they're actually using that within this game, so that looks pretty cool. And third of the second tier is Teamwork. So if an ally enters Fight for Your Life or a Digijack dies, you regenerate health for a few seconds. This effect can stack up to 10 times, so that's pretty handy really. Health regeneration is always a good one to get, and that one brings, you know, in the you know, if you've got a mate with you or something like that and they keep going down, you actually get bonuses for it, and it gives you a chance to get them up or wait for your Digijack to respawn, so that's quite handy. So third tier is Commitment. Whenever a Digijack dies or a friend goes into Fight for Your Life, you gain a stack of Commitment. The longer your friends are in Fight for Your Life, the more stacks you gain. Stacks granted when a Digijack dies last for 6 seconds, and stacks gained from other players are quickly lost when they exit Fight for Your Life. you get a bonus to fire rate and reload speed for each stack of commitment. So again, it's a bit more of a survival one really. If your friend goes down, you actually get bonuses and it helps you out to get them back up really. Or again, when your Digijack dies, depending on how long it takes for him to respawn, I'm not sure about that one, but you just get an extra bonus to keep yourself survived. So it's kind of, you know, so far we're focusing on more of a co-op kind of skill tree, this one, especially, you know, if you're underpowered and your ally, your friend or whatever is going down a lot, or your Digijacks are getting quite pummeled, it just helps you out a little bit, so that's quite handy. Next we're going on to winning. So kill skill, killing an enemy increases your movement speed for a short time and instantly restores a proportion of your shields, so that helps a little bit really, especially if you keep one of these run and gun kind of people where you like to move about a lot and things. You get bonus movement speeds and your shields come back a little bit more, so that's a pretty handy one. Okay, accountability. When a friend or a Digijack takes damage, again with the friends and Digijack seems to be a pattern in this skill tree, you gain a stack of accountability. When you take damage, you lose half of your accountability stacks, and when you go into fight for your life, you use all of your stacks. So another one stacking really. I'm not been a massive fan of stacking, but you gain bonus fire rate based on how many accountability stacks you have. Again, it's if you're a fan of stacking like Anarchy from Borderlands 2 and things like that, and you're good at it and you're good at getting maximum stacks, you'll be pretty powerful really. That's 3 skills now I think with stacking, with accountability, I think commitment, and there's another one up here somewhere with stacking. But yeah, I've never been a fan of stacking, so I'm not really loving this skill tree so far, but some of you might like it. Next is optimism. When one of your Digijack dies, he sets off an explosion, damaging all nearby enemies. Also, the next Digijack will spawn with less health. So yeah, it's one of them where it's just a last ditch effort. If you're getting quite overpowered, then one of your Digijack dies, he might actually explode and kill someone quite close and help you out a little bit. A bit of crowd control kind of skill, that one. So we're going on to the 5th tier now with Believe. Kill skill, killing an enemy increases your weapon damage, fire rate, reload speed and accuracy for a short time. Again, pretty self-explanatory. And potential is when your Digijack spawns, he sets off a Nova Shock. Also, you can use your action skill while in fight for your life. Now that one is a pretty handy one really. It's always good, bit like Salvador in Borderlands 2 where you could gun Zerk while in fight for your life. That helped out so much. It's, you know, everyone goes into fight for your life really. It's some more than others, but everyone will at some point or another. And sometimes it's quite hard, especially if enemies are running about or hiding, or you know, quite far away, and you haven't got a real precise weapon, or you know, a powerful enough weapon to get up. You're disadvantaged really. So the more advantage you can get in fight for your life, the better. So when your action skill actually works in fight for your life, your Digijacks can run after people, kill them, and get you up again. So that one's quite a handy one really. Probably the most handy one I've seen so far in this skill tree, for me anyway. Okay, moving on to Delegation. A proportion of damage dealt to you is redistributed to your Digijacks instead. So again, that's not a bad one really. It keeps you up, and as your Digijacks respawn, you know, it's not a bad thing really, giving a proportion of damage to your Jacks. They're there to help you out. They're there to tank it a little bit and take most of the shots while you sit there and stay alive basically. So yeah, you're getting rid of one of your Digijacks, or you know, you're putting some of your damage onto them, but they'll die, they'll respawn, come back. You won't, you'll die. Well, you will respawn and come back, but you want to stay up as much as possible really, and the fight will go on without them, but not without you. And finally, the last skill in the very bottom tier is Leadership. So when a Digijack dies, it counts as if you had killed an enemy. This can grant you a second win. Second wins can be granted once per action skill use. So that for a last level skill tree tier, that doesn't sound amazing really, but it's quite handy. If you're going down and you're underpowered and your Digijacks go down as well, it can get you up basically. So it's a game of chance, that really. You know, if you go down and you've got 2 full health Digijacks next to you, you're gonna you know, that's not going to be any use to you at all. But if, you know, you're getting overpowered, like I said, and you're all quite low, and you go down, and then one of your jacks dies, then you get up. So it's pretty handy, really. But that's it anyway, guys. That is the greater good skill tree. And looking over it, in conclusion, I'd say it starts off as more of a team kind of thing, but the whole thing kind of focuses on getting overpowered. It's quite a depressing kind of skill tree. Every skill in it kind of sounds like, you know, when you go down, when this happens, when you know, whenever you go into fight for your life and things like that, or when nearly everyone is when your Digijack dies. So it's a bit of a skill tree for those who, kind of saying for those of you that aren't very good, choose this skill tree and we'll keep you alive for a bit longer. So not massively impressed with that at all, really, but you know, it's there to help people out, especially those who are, you know, not as good maybe players as everyone else, and there's quite a few skills in there that give you a few bonuses for a few seconds, and, you know, stacking this, stacking that, but definitely not a skill tree for me, really. I do like the first one, and the hero of this story skill tree, that's definitely one that I'm going to check out. But that's it anyway. That's part 2 of the Doppelganger, Handsome Jacks Doppelganger analysis for his skill tree video. Links in the description for the first video, and the next one will be the free enterprise skill tree, which is the far right skill tree that you can just see on the right hand side of this one now. So that's it anyway, guys. Hope you've enjoyed looking into this. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you like this skill tree. Personally, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'd rather go for the hero of this story. That sounds more my kind of playthrough. But for those of you that like stacking, and like temporary bonuses, and helping yourself out in fight for your life, this one's for you. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.